Hi, my name is Navjeet Grewal, and welcome to this podcast for coaching for leaders. And with me is Sumantha. And today, in this session, we are talking more about difficult conversations, how to give constructive feedback to a teammate. Um, yeah, so here we go, Samantha. We were discussing about how it is difficult at times
Yeah.
to give some feedback, a constructive feedback
Yes.
to your team members.
Yeah.
So, what has your experience been?
Yeah. So this, I think, yeah, feedback is something that is which is really necessary. Like be it constructive feedback or be it positive feedback and things like that.
Uh-huh.
We talk about feedback even in electrical circuits as well, right? So it's like you need to have constant feedback with your team to bring out the best from the team. And there have been situations where there have been both the situations where like people are working very well,
Hmm.
but again that is an easier way to give the feedback that you can just go and
Yeah,
appreciate them that okay you're doing a fantastic job and then things are very good and all those things.
that's the
But
best
when
thing. That's the best part.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but even in that, it's like I think it is a generic problem. Like it's a worldwide problem, right? It's like
Uh-huh.
you tell one person that you're doing extremely well, and then the rest of the people might get demotivated or might get motivated as well. So it's always a difficult take. So
Hmm.
probably even parents face this when they have like multiple children, right? Like if they praise one child in front of the other child might feedback bad or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
always an issue. Yeah.
yeah. So that is one thing when it comes to positive feedback that's always there. But like people, but it is like the when a manager recognizes somebody doing well, it always also means that the team is also recognizing that. So the team is also aware of that person putting in extra efforts and things like that. They are doing well. But the other aspect, when somebody is not performing well, or that's something that has to be constructive feedback,
Hmm.
so that is when things get kind of difficult as leaders to give this feedback without uh, basically. We need to be sensitive about things when we give this feedback, and then we should know that person and how they take this critical feedback and things like that, right? So for me, there have been experiences where it has been hard
Hmm.
when it's like I was probably to quote an example, I was working in a team where we were I was leading a team of 6 members, and there was one person who was pretty bad, and
Hmm.
then the team was supporting him to bring up his skills and then ramp up and then and then probably he was putting in the efforts,
Hmm.
but again it was not in the right direction maybe. And then sometimes it is as leaders we'll also have to ensure that the morale of the team doesn't go down because of one person or two people, right? So
Mm.
that is where we need to talk to them, and I think, uh, but yeah, the challenge is like how to talk to them, right? Like it's like I cannot go to up to that person and say that no, you're not performing at all, and then that would spoil the whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So so that is something I think always difficult. So
Uh-huh. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it is like even in this case, then there were multiple ways of telling this person that, like, the first thing is having one-on-one discussions with that person, try to understand what is going wrong from his or her
Hmm.
side, and then but even then things doesn't improve. Then
Uh-huh.
we can have these one-on-ones multiple times and tell that, but if things are not improving, there should be some serious action which has to be taken. And then So to avoid that, it's always difficult to convey things to the team. So and when it is some bad news as well, that is also a situation where it is difficult. It becomes difficult to convey to the team.
I know because that also shakes the team morale, isn't it? Like if
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
asking somebody to leave,
yeah, yeah,
it's always a tough situation. So
yes,
I think right here we have like three scenarios, you know. So the first scenario when everything is going positive, giving somebody
yeah, yeah,
positive feedback,
yes, yes,
and how people around the whole team takes it.
yeah,
And secondly, if somebody is not performing
yes,
even though there've been multiple attempts to help them out.
yeah,
So, and how to give them this negative feedback, basically,
yes,
So, um, and I think the third one is how to balance the team. Like if you have to give the negative feedback.
yeah,
So I guess you know how these are all quite challenging conversations, I guess, for a
yeah,
manager,
yeah,
because as you rightly said, for them they have to treat everybody equally, so
yes,
they have to keep the team morale as well, and so it's basically in the first scenario, where obviously where you are giving somebody a positive feedback,
yeah,
it's balancing the team morale. Maybe it's more of, because it is a team, isn't it? So if
yeah.
one is appreciated, the whole team effort is appreciated.
That is true.
So,
Yes.
so this all comes down to the manager, how
Mhm.
you are basically as a manager, giving this information, how you're
Yeah,
imparting this information. So at one level, you are appreciating, what this person individually has achieved,
yeah,
and then you are also connecting it, you are also aligning it with the team effort and team goal, how
yeah,
this basically his achievement has contributed to the team.
yeah.
So I think that is where it's creating that balance
Yeah.
where everybody gets appreciated, because
Right.
because they are putting in a team effort. They are also supporting each other, isn't it?
Yes.
Uh, it's never individual effort. If you see, you can't work in isolation, so they are all working in together. S-
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, so how you basically balance this and how you convey this again, coming back to again how you communicate this. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
Oh, yeah, yeah. That this is very important because just to quote an example, in one of my past experiences, there was an allocation between the lead and one of the engineers, where the lead complained that yeah, I did not see you yesterday at all at office, and then the other person said that no, I had a headache, and then I had to go home earlier. And
uh-huh.
then the lead mentioned that even I have an headache, I had an headache, and the other person got irritated, and that person started saying that if you can handle your headache, then it is good. I could not handle my headache, so I went home. And then
Uh-huh.
ultimately he just pointed out that you are no one to shout on me. So
Hmm.
if you have problems with me, you can show that in appraisal ratings.
Uh-huh.
But that doesn't entitle you to shout on me in public and things like that. So this very key conversation. Ultimately, it brought down the morale of the team,
Yeah.
and then the leader also lost his or her respect here
Uh-huh.
from the team, because the way he or she shouted was wrong, right? So it
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
way of communication is very critical here, right? So
Very, very critical. Now, in this scenario,
yeah,
had the team lead,
yeah,
sympathized
yeah,
with and validated, that oh yes, it obviously this person is having headache. even
yeah,
even if this person is faking the headache, you know,
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
best the best possible way is acknowledging that obviously you could have pain,
yeah,
it could be hurting, and acknowledging that, oh, I'm really sorry that you have pain, and yeah, I can understand this, you know,
yeah,
but uh, this you could have basically informed me, and because you did not inform me or you were not there, this is what has happened. So
yeah,
the idea is to take care of the problem, you know, not create a further problem.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah,
so
true.
just directly hitting at somebody that, oh, you know, even I have a headache and it's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
it,
that too, probably not in front of the team, right? Like, you can
yeah,
at least
yeah,
have the
yeah.
courtesy to go into a room and then talk about this, right?
Yeah,
It's
that is so true. That is so
yeah,
true. As I always say, you know, there are always three people in the conversation, you know.
yeah,
One, I mean, yourself, or one, the manager, and one, the other person, and the third is the organization.
yes, yeah,
So
yeah,
organization is influencing in all basically aspects, you know, within the
yes,
conversation, before the conversation, and after the conversation.
yes,
How it comes across, the
yes,
organization, you know, is taking all that, you know, all those basically the information is being gathered by the rest of the team, and that's how, you know, team morale goes down.
yes,
So one has to be very careful of what one is saying and how
yeah,
one is communicating, basically, you know.
yeah,
And also, I think the most important thing, which I feel, you know, like why communication becomes difficult,
yeah,
is because if any of these three are ignored,
yeah, right, yeah,
if one is ignoring oneself as a manager and not really, you know, it doesn't he's ignoring his own emotions or own frustrations or something, that also doesn't work really well.
yeah,
It doesn't come across very well. And if the person is biased or, you know, ignoring, or the person whom he is delivering the message to,
yeah,
and if he or she is not being valued enough, then again, you know, it's not going to fall in the right place, isn't it?
yes, yes, exactly.
And organization, obviously, you know, organization is there, and that is why these two are having a conversation. That is why these two are there. So yeah, it is quite a difficult, basically, you know, the balance which a manager has to create.
Yeah, right. I think this is why people always say that people leave their manager and not the company. Like when a
Exactly,
good event happens.
exactly, exactly. Because that is where you have to be every day, you know, that is the
Yeah,
person you are interacting with.
yeah,
And that takes a toll on people, you know. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yes, and I think on this, yeah. So like one thing is we have to be really sure about the person that we are also dealing with. Like if it's a friendly person in the team, and then like I know that person as a buddy. In that
yeah,
case, I can still go and then tell him directly on his face and things like that,
yeah,
right? But again, if it's a sensitive person, then it becomes really harder on how to convey things. So
yeah. And yeah, that is true, you know,
yeah,
that especially with difficult people, you know, especially with sensitive person,
yeah, yeah,
it is a challenge.
yeah,
However, you know, in your team, you will have one or two such people
yeah,
anyway. So I think it does help if you can, you know, either meet somewhere outside the
yeah,
organizational environment,
yeah,
somewhere more, you know, calmer and more comforting place, like a cafe or something, you know, so maybe outside work,
yeah,
and in a more informal sort of setting, you know, if you want to convey that kind of a message, or so. And see, especially with sensitive and difficult people, there is you know, issue of them, feeling somewhere that, oh, they are not being seen enough or validated enough, you know. And maybe they are insecure inside, or maybe they are not very confident inside. So if like if you are sort of having a one-to-one with them, and you can first acknowledge their effort, or like whatever their contribution has been to the team. I'm sure that
Yeah.
everybody has some positive, not everything
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
negative.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So if one knows that this person is sensitive, and so one can basically start with acknowledging first, and their effort and their contribution, and so that you have their confidence there, that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
mean well, basically
Yes.
you mean well,
Yeah.
and then if you can, and then you make maybe what we call a coaching style of a conversation, where you invite them and you ask them that, where, like, this is what you have noticed, and
Yeah.
this is what the issue is, basically. And one has to be direct in that sense, one has to be direct in the sense that you just convey in a very nicer tone, very calmer tone,
Yeah.
and that this is the issue you have noticed, and this has come to your notice, and what do they think? So it's inviting them to contribute rather than you telling them
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Can you imagine, you are having this conversation with someone,
Yeah. That is true.
and
That is a really pathetic kind of a
yeah,
conversation.
if you
Like,
just if you just go straight into like, oh, this is not working,
yeah.
this is what you're not doing right.
Yeah.
Instead, if you have their confidence and you sort of calm, I'm sure they must be stressed out, and they also must be aware that they have not done something right. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
yeah, so uh,
Yeah, in a way, I think it is good. Even I was set this example by my managers in the past, and even I do it. If somebody is struggling with something,
yeah,
and on a constant basis, I think as leaders, it's important for us to sit with them when they're doing a task as well,
yeah,
just to buy that confidence from them, and then probably see where they are struggling, and then see, wow, if some training can help them, or if some
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
probably
yeah,
some hand holding there would always
yeah,
help that person, and
yeah.
then probably that would give the confidence for that person as well, right? So, yeah,
Exactly, exactly. It maybe they are struggling, in their own
yeah,
work,
yeah,
and because the other teammates are doing well, or for him there is a big issue adapting in the current environment, and this person feels left out or anxious,
yeah,
and but they are, ashamed,
yes,
basically,
yeah, yeah,
to tell you or ask for help. Oh, this happens all the time. People
yes,
are
yeah.
so afraid of asking for help.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there are a lot
Yeah.
of people in the team who would feel shy to ask for help, and then they take the stress on themselves, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. And they are trying in
yes,
their own way to cope
yes,
up with. And then this is how when if somebody comes directly, especially their boss comes
yeah,
directly and tells them, "Oh, this is you have not done this thing right."
yeah.
So this is the defense mechanism starts working, and they start defending
Exactly,
themselves.
exactly. Like people get aggressive there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
yes. That this is something what is very common
Uh-huh.
in the probably most of the companies that I've worked. I've seen this such behavior, such aggressive behavior, at least from one or two people, which should be coming. There are scenarios where like some people try to take advantage also,
Yeah.
like they fake this aggressive behavior and things like that. But I think the leader should be intelligent or smart enough to understand this as well. But
That is true. That is true. I agree with you in that sense, like
yeah, yeah,
there are always two different types of people. I mean, many
yeah,
different types of people.
yeah, yeah,
There
yeah,
there will always be these kind of people who are, who just create this vibe about them, that
Yes.
that oh, I'm unapproachable, so
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I am that difficult, and don't you mess with me.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, and one there's also the subtle communication, right? Where you don't have to communicate exactly, and then just to quote an example from my first job, this was around 20 years back now.
Uh-huh.
So it was a fresh team that I was starting, and then but I had seen some kind of indifferences between a couple of teammates there,
Yeah.
at least two people, like one was not liking the other leader. So but it is like then my manager like had asked me to create a team outing or something like that,
Uh-huh.
and in that we were dividing people into groups, and
Yeah.
then like on purpose I just added these two people into one group so that they talk to each other, and that communication barrier is broken. And then when I talked to my manager, he didn't tell me anything also. He just replaced one more name into that group so that he knew that okay, what are the things which are going on within the team, that there are indifferences, and there are some ego clashes which are happening between a couple of people. And
Hmm.
then he just did it, and then he did not speak about it, he did not gossip about it, and things like that. And that way it kind of helped. At the end of that activity, like they talked to each other, they were able to break that communication barrier or whatever clashes that they had between them. So even this way, I think it's like it's not direct communication. This way of like indirect communication, which will make things better.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, exactly, so I think these outdoor team events and everything, like,
Yeah,
basically where, they are away from the office
yeah,
environment,
yeah,
and they are more sort of relaxed, or more sort
yeah,
of, doing other fun activities, basically,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that shows a more a different side of theirs, isn't it? Like,
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it really helps, you know out of office team, these events and all, to help sometimes all these tensions which are building up, because you're in an office environment, you're always stuck in that work mode.
yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And that can always relax these anxieties, and that can show very different side of the other person.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is why I think it's very important to have those away days.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like,
Yeah.
probably somewhere in the management, they might see that it is not helping or some things like that. But these are some smaller things which should be fixed in such outings, right? So, which is
Yeah,
always,
yeah, yeah. No, I think they're very, very important. They're
yeah,
extremely essential, because change of environment
yeah,
helps a lot, for people to see different side of the other person. Because in an office environment, everybody becomes I don't know. I feel, people become totally different.
yeah.
People,
It is always
there's
they portray their fake personality, right?
yeah.
And they carry that, right? Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, yeah. So there are, like, there's workload, there's competition, there's anxieties, there's, like, and there's always, I often, come across these, like, especially my clients as well, it's like, oh, we feel, like, oh, we are being judged, we are being seen, and we are being noticed all the time. I just,
Yeah,
like, constantly, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't affect everybody at the same level, people are
yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah,
And but for some, being in that office environment, where some, especially who are not that confident in their work, maybe they're new to work, or maybe they are not very well settled in work, or
yeah,
they are feeling insecure about work.
yeah,
So, yeah, I think mainly it is, like, how to have these difficult conversations
yeah,
is to either have one-to-one, you know, and inviting people to, and also rather than telling, it's more about inviting people to, share their experience,
Yeah, yeah,
how they see the problem, because sometimes as we, I mean, as a leader, you might be seeing a problem in a different way, because you have your expectations and you have other teammates and you have your criteria and, like, you are coming from a different place, but they might be
yeah,
seeing the problem in a totally, from a different point of view,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So inviting them to share, and inviting them to find the solution to the problem, basically,
yes, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Rather than
yeah.
just seeing them as part of the problem.
Yeah.
Um,
That is true. That is actually key, actually. And
yeah,
on a lighter note, I was just remembering, like, I've seen few of these videos where people complain about Gen Z
yeah,
people, where they say that, oh, I have childhood trauma or things like that, I cannot work. Maybe they are good because they are vocal about the things that they are facing. But it is, at least with us millennials, it has always been a problem of, like, even when we get into this new environment, as you were telling, and then it is like we do not open up, and then
yeah.
we carry this fake personality, and then things become really hard as we go along. So,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. No, I completely agree, but this is something which is even difficult for, like, Gen Zs are like pretty vocal about everything,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
because
is that creates a different problem in itself, but
yeah.
still, yes.
Because the whole social media and the whole current environment is in their favor, which
Yeah,
are
yeah,
like more promoting self-expression and, like not to take anything, not to hide anything, because
yeah,
um, it's all linked with mental health and it's all, whereas I think millennials, have learned from their previous generations as, take it in a stride, be strong and
yes,
go with the flow and just do it, so it's like I'm
yeah.
I'm remembering Nikes, just do it. So, whereas, I'm sure you guys, and like even our generation, it's like we were sort of, this is how we were brought up, like, oh, you have to be resilient, you have to do this, you have to um, just be strong and work it out, basically, provide the solution. So for them, I think this is where the problem is happening, because your mindset, according to your mindset, this is how problems should be seen, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Whereas Gen Zs are just seeing their own problem, they're not seeing any
exactly.
other
Yeah,
problem,
yeah, yeah,
any
yeah.
other problem.
Yes, exactly.
And that is where I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing that they are bringing this transition. They are
Yeah,
they are bringing this self-expression. But because this is a phase where we are all transiting into this new way of thinking and new way of being, where you don't have to
yeah,
hide yourself, where it gets too much for us because we are not used to it. We never grew up like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But I think again that point, it's better to accept it that this is
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah,
is how
yeah,
it's going to be. So
yes,
more accepting and more validating rather than rejecting, rather than feeling frustrated about it. And I've
yeah,
seen I've seen if you accept it and you validate that, yeah, this is this must be a struggle.
yeah,
So they are also um, a generation who are open to ideas, I guess, So
yeah, yeah. I think again, probably again reiterating that, I think this is where uh, you are so important for us leaders, because I think for us, we know this communication is a problem, but we don't know how to solve these things. And then probably discussing with you in detail would has helped us in solving such issues. So it is
yeah, yeah.
really good.
So I
yeah,
know this is something. It's so, and as I always say, like the we should always focus on the positive outcome
yeah,
of the conversation and
yeah,
how we can achieve this positive outcome
yeah,
where all three benefit.
yes, yes, yes,
All
yes,
three entities, basically the organization, the two people who are
yeah,
involved in the conversation,
yeah, yeah,
you know, and the
yeah,
problem gets solved basically.
yeah.
So
And I believe there is no generic solution for this because
no,
there would
no,
be
no, no.
because there are no generic problems also, right? So it's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
uh,
So this is what, like when we do, when I do these webinars on difficult
communication.
conversations.
Yeah,
It's basically, it takes you through all these three entities and what all is involved in it, so that it gives you an idea. You understand, how and what is affecting these conversations.
yeah,
And then you sort of, once you've had this awareness, when you understand yourself, your own issues, your own anxieties, and then you understand where this other person might be coming from, this
yeah,
all the
yeah,
baggage this other person is bringing on with. It could be culture, it could be their upbringing, it could be so many different aspects,
yeah, yeah,
and then the whole environment, so like in the organization itself,
yeah,
organization is influencing the current conversation, and organization will also be influenced.
yes,
It works both ways, and the after effects of this conversation is also sort of projected on the organization, so
yeah,
um yeah, so it's an ongoing thing, so
yeah, exactly. It's an ongoing thing, and the new
yeah,
challenges surface every day.
yeah. I think maybe we can take the next bit in the next session,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Yeah.
then also today, just couple of hours back when we were having this coffee,
Hmm.
yeah, we have this tradition
Uh,
called fika. Oh, no, we can continue. Okay.
okay.
We have this tradition called fika here in Sweden, wherein once a week, one person in the team would bring something that they have baked or something from the store. It might be some buns or some dishes.
Uh-huh.
And then everybody sits around and hangs around and have coffee together along with that.
Okay.
So there, this is one way of bonding as well, because we do not discuss work sitting there. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so it is
Yeah.
something beyond that. So, but today there's an interesting conversation which I want to bring it up and
Uh-huh.
discuss with you as well, because we were just talking about one ex-colleague who has moved out of the company, and then there was one more colleague who was mentioning that she tried to reach him, but he is having back pain.
Hmm.
But there was another colleague who also mentioned that no, he's too stressed out.
Hmm.
But then they got to know that it's like then there's the senior colleague who made an interesting observation that your office induced stress can lead to back
Hmm.
pain, to physical pain as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, the one interesting thing that I would want to talk to you is how to handle this office induced stress. There are
Mm.
multiple causes for this, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there will be some things that we can that is not in our control to change as well, the environment and stuff. But then how, as an individual, do we handle this? Is also would be a good topic to discuss with you.
Oh,
So what do you think?
definitely, definitely. No, I completely agree,
Yeah,
because as I was saying that you are spending so much of your time of the day
yeah,
at work,
yeah,
and when you are in it, when like all this stress is building up, your mind and body is just so
yeah,
connected, so whatever
yeah,
is happening in your mind, the body is keeping the score, body is going through it, body is trying to cope with
Yes.
all these stresses. So it's always this, and often, people have these aches and pains, and like
Yeah.
chronic pains. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
mental health issues and
Yeah.
everything because of the office environment. No,
Yeah.
definitely, I think next time we can discuss this,
Yeah.
and this will be a really good topic to uh,
Yeah.
have a proper
Definitely.
session on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I think probably we can finish off our session here today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Sure.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was nice again talking with you.
Uh,
Then you've been providing a lot of solutions which would help in our daily life inside the office, and most of the things can be carried outside the office
yeah.
as well.
Oh, thank you so much, Samantha. It's always
Thank you.
pleasure to talk to you. And
Thank you.
uh,
Same here.
and yeah, see you next time then.
Yeah. See you around. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
bye.